Okay, so ayun. First things first, unahin natin to, no? So this is feedback control systems classes. I think iba yung course code niyo. So basically baka gumawa na lang kayo ng mga substitutions with regards sa NU IST niyo. Okay. Anyway, si Sir John Ray naman na nag-decide ng gantong setup. So ayun. Now, the thing is that although I am basing this on the students that I have enrolled in this Teams class, okay? And I see na 5 pa lang yata yung na-enroll natin. Okay, so although ang mistake ko naman is that I haven't checked the official class list for today. Okay, so that's something kasi baka may nadagdag na pala sa inyo. So I don't know if nandun na siya, nakadagdag na, and then hindi ko pa siya nadagdag din sa Teams. Okay, so ayun, yun yung medyo mali na nagawa ko today. Hindi ko na-check yung class list. Okay, pero in any case, I don't know if what would happen with the class kasi nga ang alam ko, as I was informed earlier with the previous class, na 12 yata yung minimum number of students that needs to be enrolled in a class. Okay? So since 5 pa lang kayo and there are many possibilities that will happen. Okay. Number 1, okay. It is possible that isa sa inyo ma-dissolve. Okay, isa sa mga classes sa inyo ma-dissolve. And then the class that would be dissolved would be merged in the another class. Okay, anyway, ako din naman may hawak ng kabilang class. So, that would be fine. Okay, ang hindi fine is if meron kayong conflict with the other class. Pero just in case, sa inyong 4 na nandito ngayon, okay, the schedule of the other class is Tuesday and Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. Meaning yung bago yung klase niyo na to, yun yung schedule nung other class. So my question is, will there be conflicts in your schedule? Just in case na kayo yung ma-dissolve at ma-merge kayo sa kabilang class. Will there be conflict?
Sir, sa akin po, yung Comnet ko po, 3 to 7 yung schedule, sir.
So, ibig sabihin ng Tuesday. Okay. So, ibig sabihin nang galing ka sa isang previous class bago ito. Parang ganun.
Apo.
So, may conflict ka. Okay. So, sino pa?
Ako rin po, sir.
Ako rin po, sir. Same po.
Same po.
Same din. Okay, sige. So, ayun. So, I was able to determine from the other class na meron sa kanila may isang conflict. At least may isang conflict kasi may 2 pang hindi umattend eh. Ang alam ko sa kabilang class kasi 6 sila. So, kanina yung umattend, 4 pa lang. So, hindi ko pa nakita yung 2. Although I don't know if ganito, since may conflict kayo, may conflict din sa kabilang grupo. So, mahirap yung merging lang. Kasi another option that we need to explore if we are to dissolve one of the classes and merge kayo is to actually completely change the schedule. Okay, so baka mahirapan naman tayo maghanap ng schedule na common sa inyo na pwede nyo kunin. Kasi magiging problema naman baka ako naman yung magkaroon ng problema. Kasi baka may mag-conflict naman sa akin lahat ng schedule niyo. Okay, so that's one thing that we will have to look out for. Okay, so tingnan natin. Pero that's one option that we are looking for. Kasi ang iniisip ko kasi is that if we do not if the school really requires that the class would have at least 12 students, okay, in order for it to be a go, okay, baka kasi pabayaran sa inyo tulad ng practice before, okay, baka pabayaran sa inyo yung kulang dun sa 12. Okay, so kung pababayaran kasi sa inyo, I would rather have you merge. Okay, iano ko na lang na mag-merge sana kayo para hindi man kayo umabot kasi if there are 6 of them tapos 5 of you, there will be 11. So at least isa na lang yung kulang. If pababayaran mo sa inyo ng school, isa na lang yung babayaran niyo. Mas mura na yun kumpara naman sa in your case, 7. Mas marami pa yung babayaran yung wala kaysa babayaran yung kayo-kayo lang mismo. Okay, so I would rather have you merged. Okay? Although, in that case, ako naman yung magkakaproblema. Kasi kulang ako sa units. Kasi kailangan din kami, naka-full load din kami. So, makukulangan ako ng 3 units na load in that or 4 hours na lecture 4 hours na session time. So, magkakaproblema ako ng konti sa sweldo. Pero if in case that would be a small matter compared naman sa laki ng babayaran ninyo. Okay, so yun. That's one. If the school would actually require to pay additional fees because of the lack of let us try to find a common schedule that would be amenable in every one of the class, you and the other class. Ilipat natin yung schedule doon. Okay ba yan? Yung ganong arrangement?
Pwede, sir. There's fry, sir. Available ka po ba, sir? Or dun pa sa kabila? Possibly, or...
Gano'n lang muna. Tatanong ko muna. Tapos yung schedule, pag-usapan natin next. Okay. If ever, sige, hindi ko muna isipin yung schedule. Baka si Sir Janre yung paghanapin ko. Kasi siya may hawak ng lahat ng schedule. So, may idea siya kung ano lahat ng schedule nyo. So, baka siya na lang yung paghanapin ko ng magandang schedule para sa inyo lahat. Okay. Tapos alam niya rin yung schedule ko. So, ma-arrange niya yun ng maayos para sa ating lahat. Okay. Although, nakikita ko ang possibility ng Saturday class if ever. Although, alam ko hindi din pwede ng Saturday yung mga yun kasi alam ko meron silang parang special topics or something like that. Anyway, si Sir John Rig lang yung paghahanapin natin. Just in case, Okay. So, basta tatanong natin kung ano. Kasi, before, I had experiences, nung face-to-face classes pa tayo, I have experiences of handling undersized classes. Okay? Pero, number one, inallow yung continue, parang ang pinaka-konti kong hinawakan is 4. Okay, pero yung that case na 4 lang yung hinawakan ko, yung isa kasi doon, talagang pinitisyon niya na matuloy yung class because graduating kasi siya. Okay? And another thing is that that class is within the same or is designed to be offered in that term. Okay, nagkataon lang na talagang maraming pumasa yung petition class before that maraming pumasa. That is why yung mismong class na dapat tatanggap ng enrollees nung term na yon, wala na nag-enroll kasi nga pumasa na sila eh. Okay, so yun yung medyo ironic sa nangyari na yun. Okay, so tuloy siya dahil sa interim course siya. Okay. And at the same time, yung isa, pinitisyon niya talaga na matuloy kahit 4 lang sila. Because yun nga, graduating siya. At yun na lang talaga yung subject niya. Okay, so pinayagan naman siya ng school. Ang hindi ko lang sure kung nagbayad sila. Kung may binayaran sila. Kasi 4 lang sila. So kung 4 lang sila, 8 yung babayaran nila. Just in case na pabayaran sila ng school. So malaki-laki yun. But I don't know if nagbayad sila. Okay. Yun. So, and in my case naman, there is also this case na konti lang yung hinawakan ko, 7 yata. But again, that course is designed to be offered for that term. Okay? Kaso 7 lang yung enrollees kasi may another section na open. Lahat ng students doon nag-enroll sa kabilang section. Okay, so ganun naman yung naging case. And in that case, sinabihan naman ako before na it's okay to continue with the classes kasi number 1, full-time faculty naman ako. And number 2, yun nga, intern siya. Now, in your case, ang isang problema sa magiging arrangement natin is that your course is not offered in this term. Kasi from what I understand is this is a petition course. Tama ba? Or wala kayong idea? Kasi hindi ko alam kung anong term ino-offer sa inyo yung control systems eh. Pero nakuha ko lang yung idea na siya ay petition course based dun sa section ninyo. Kasi yung section ninyo is COEP03. So ibig sabihin kasi nun petition course ito. Okay. Kapag kasi regular course siya, ang sectioning niyan is, for example, COE 191. So ibig sabihin regular offering 'yun sa term. Okay, pero since ang section nyo is COE P03 or basta yung COE tas may P. Okay, that means this is a petition course and this is not a regular offering in this second term. Okay, so that is why I'm not sure how things would work. Okay, pero again, from the previous experience, since naman ako, full-time faculty naman ako, the department would actually be recommending na magpatuloy itong classes na to. Okay, so but let's see kung siguro later tonight o kaya early tomorrow, I'll talk to Sir John Ray regarding the status of this class and the other class. Okay, and pati actually madadama yung laboratory if you are also enrolled in the laboratory. Kung may naka-enroll sa inyo sa laboratory. Okay, so madamay din 'yun kasi undersized din siya. Okay, but in any case, if what would happen is i-inform ko kayo. Okay? So magiging decision point natin is that route or magiging decision route na kukunin natin is that route that you need to have you don't need to have to shell out additional fees. Okay, yun yung kukunin nating route. Okay? Hindi rin kasi sure kung anong policy ng school ngayon regarding sa undersized classes, especially pandemic naman. So I don't know if binago ba nila yung policy nila regarding that end. Okay? Of course, sa face-to-face classes, it would be okay for the school to charge undersized classes kasi syempre there is a certain break-even point dahil syempre babayaran nila yung faculty eh. So yung ibabayad nila kasi sa faculty parang pinagsama-samang tuition fee ninyo. So kung 5 lang yung for example 5 or 6 lang yung naka-enroll sa isang klase, kulang yung pambayad ng school dun sa faculty na So in that case nagde-decide yung school to dissolve the class instead of actually assigning it to a faculty. Unless meron nga mga petitions o meron mga pinupush na yung mga estudyante. Like for example, graduating na, ito na lang yung kulang, ayaw na mag-cross enroll. Okay? So o kaya pero sometimes the school asks for compensations for that. Okay. So saglit lang. Okay. So ayun. Okay, so let's leave that matter muna behind us and we'll address that in an appropriate time. Okay, so ayun lang. Merong tricycle na sa amin. Medyo umaamoy yung gas niya dito. That is something na na-experience natin sa mga online classes like this one. Anyway, so for today, what I would like to discuss with you is I'll be giving you a full scale orientation on a recorded video. Hindi ko pa siya nagagawa actually. Pero I'll be giving it to you within the week. Pero for today, muna tayo, konting orientation na tayo with regards dun sa tool na gagamitin natin. Kasi I think this is something that we need to know now, okay, before we actually go to our lesson proper. Okay, so so some discussion about the tools and some things na ilalagay ko na rin para magkaroon na kayo ng idea on how the course would actually go. Okay. So yung iba namang bagay is medyo trivial na lang. For example, yung Russell, okay, or yung flex guidelines, okay, which I would discuss partly today, pero discuss ko siya in a full extent dun sa Okay. So, una, pag-usapan muna natin yung the manner by which we will conduct the class. Okay? Especially itong synchronous session. Okay. Actually, yung class natin can be scheduled to go into synchronous mode or asynchronous mode. Okay? Katulad nung announcement ko last Thursday when our first class was scheduled to run. I set the class into an asynchronous mode. Okay, so that means we don't need to meet online, okay, and live. Okay. But you are asked to do some things during the time na tumatakbo supposedly yung klase natin. Okay. So we call that asynchronous learning mode. Okay. So that kind of mode is asynchronous learning. Okay. This time, itong ginagawa natin ngayon is the synchronous session. Okay. So this is the synchronous mode of the Russell. Okay. So you might have heard of Russell before. And that Russell stands for Remote Asynchronous Synchronous Learning. Okay, which is the integral part of the flex learning that is being given out by or that is being rolled out by the school. Okay. So later on magiging part ng flex learning yung tinatawag na blended learning. Okay. And again, di-discuss ko yan in the full extent sa sa orientation lecture na ibibigay sa inyo in a recorded format. Pero what I want you to know now is we would divide our schedule into asynchronous and synchronous mode. And not necessarily symmetrical. Hindi ibig sabihin na 50-50 natin siyang gagawin. Okay. Actually, when I am setting the class, it would always be arbitrary. Okay. I always for flexibility, I always practice I always practice that I schedule synchronous sessions or asynchronous learning depending on how I see it fit. Okay. For example, the reason why I set these two meetings, ito tsaka yung sa Friday as synchronous mode, it's because if matatapos naman natin yung discussion natin, okay, at mapaprovide ko naman yung mga course materials, there is a possibility that on Tuesday next week, we would not be needing to meet, okay, synchronously. Okay, so as opposed to the plan that once a week dapat meron tayong synchronous session. Kasi yun talaga yung sinasabi nung guideline. That is, at least once a week meron tayong synchronous session. But I think the guidelines also gives us enough freedom to actually set, okay, which of the meetings are synchronous and which are not synchronous, which are asynchronous. Okay, so ngayon, since medyo titignan ko na baka ma-disrupt ko pa yung bakasyon nyo kung sakali, kasi baka next week nasa bakasyon na kayo. Kasi remember that next week is almost Christmas week na rin eh. Okay? So, tinitingnan ko na baka next week, baka ibigay ko na yung Christmas week ninyo, okay, by setting the Tuesday meeting to be in asynchronous mode already. Okay, so we will have to finish what we need to finish this week. Okay, and then next week, bahala na kayo sa bakasyon ninyo. Kung gagamitin nyo man yung oras na yun as bakasyon. Pero again, since may pasok pa tayo, supposedly next week, there would be an assigned work for you to do. Okay? So, may iiwan pa rin ako sa inyong class material, course material. And you need to, if you wish, you can go through that, Pero hindi naman tayo nagmamadali. Although, there is a possibility, hindi ko pa masyadong, pero malalaman nyo within the week. That yung first quiz natin would actually fall on the first week of January. Okay. So, ayun. I'm sorry to tell. Pero titingnan ko pa rin. Hindi pa naman final pagdating doon sa part na yun. Okay. So, ayun. That is why baka kailangan yung mag-set. Kung pag andun kayo sa possibility na yun, na week 4 kailangan natin Kasi week 4 yung yung first week ng January. So if we are to go into that thing, you might need to make some time, okay, during the break of going through the material that I would be giving you. Okay? So that you would be able to be ready for the quiz on on the first week of January. Okay. Pero again, nothing is final as of now. I am still thinking, I'm still weighing the options. Okay. May mga kino-consider pa rin din kasi ako na, for example, you might have heard that we will have makeup classes on Sundays of January. Okay? Or alam niyo ba yun? Aware ba kayo doon?
Hindi
Ngayon lang
po.
po nalaman, sir.
Ngayon niyo lang nalaman. Sige, may papa.
Po, sir.
Hindi ko sure kung na-provide sa inyo yung school calendar. Pero if not, this is something. Pero wala pa ring teacher na nagsasabi sa inyo.
Wala pa po.
Wala pa po, sir.
So ako pala ang bringer ng bad news, no? Wait lang. Ganito kasi, what happened was dahil nagkaroon ng academic break or calamity break last term. Nagkaroon kayo ng 1 week na calamity break. What happened was the school was forced to move the final exams 1 week behind the original schedule. Okay? So dahil na-move yun ng 1 week behind the original schedule, yung simula ng klase natin for the second term was also moved some days behind. Okay? Originally, we could have started parang sa unang plan ng school, we would have started the first term parang December 9 kung tama yung hindi. Hindi, parang earlier pa sa December 9. Basta naalala ko, we would have started earlier. Okay? So, what happened is, naurong yung simula ng term natin. But the school parang kind of intended to end the second term as scheduled on March something like 13, kung di ako nagkakamali. March 13. Okay, para makuha nila yung simula ng third term at March 25 yata. Okay. So parang ito yung magiging simula ng third term ninyo, just in case. Okay. The idea is that para makapagsimula ulit tayo ng bagong school year on August or September siguro, mga ganun. Okay. So kasi kapag move nila to, mamumove ulit yung school year next year. So that's one thing that So what the school did was to schedule to schedule makeup classes sa January 10, January 17 at saka January 24. Okay, hindi naman to sabay-sabay. For example, sa January 10, yung Monday and Thursday class niyo would be assigning asynchronous classes. This is asynchronous naman. So it's likely that you won't have synchronous sessions during this time. Okay? It's just that your teachers might actually assign something for you to do on this time. Although I don't know if there are teachers that would actually do some online sessions. Okay, ako sa ngayon, ko na hindi siya hindi siya applicable sa akin. I mean, I won't schedule synchronous session during this time. Pero baka isang araw dito gamitin ko as quiz time. Although pinag-iisip ko kasi baka may iba pa kayong schedule during this time. So, titingnan ko pa rin. Okay. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yung schedule ng quizzes niyo. Okay. Pero ayun, January 10 is dedicated for the asynchronous class ng Monday, Thursday class. Yung January 17, yung Tuesday, Friday naman. Tapos yung January 24, yung Wednesday class. So in our case, may makeup class tayo supposedly ng January 17. Okay? So, ayun. And since para yung schedule natin ng January ng Tuesday at Thursday, overlapping siya. So, all in all, ang intention ng school dito is that to add additional 1 week sa school calendar kasi kulang kayo ng isang week nito kung bibilangan niyo. Okay? Pero in this case, since magkapatong yung schedule natin ng Tuesday at Friday, effectively 2 hours lang yung malatagdag sa schedule natin. Pero still, we will not use that to have a synchronous session. We will not use that to have a synchronous session. Okay? Baka meron lang kayong mga teacher na gamitin ito to do a synchronous session. Okay, but ako ngayon na-announce ko na hindi natin gagamit ito for synchronous session. Pero magde-deploy tayo ng school material, ng course materials for this that encompasses this period. In any case, kahit naman na wala tong makeup class na to, meron pa rin naman kayong course material that you need to work on. Pero yun lang, I am just making you aware that there is the presence of this one. Okay, baka lang kasi meron kayong Okay, so kung palang kung palang nag-conduct ng synchronous session ng teacher niya Sunday, hindi niyo alam kung saan niyo hinugot 'yun. Okay, so ayan, ngayon alam niyo na kung alam niyo na kung saan niyo huhugutin 'yun. Okay? So, ayan. Tatlong Sunday yan. January 10, 17, tsaka 24. Okay. So, ayun. So, yun nga, sinasabi ko nga na synchronous session tayo tsaka asynchronous. Arbitrary yung gagamitin natin. I mean, if I deem it necessary that we would have synchronous session, then we would have synchronous session. Although, yun nga, thinking is that at least once a week, meron tayong synchronous session so that we would be able to interact live. Okay? At least once a week. Okay? Pero katulad nga nito na 2 beses tayong mag-session this week. That means that I am actually putting off, hopefully, yung session next week. Okay? By finishing the discussion this week. Okay? So, yun. Tingnan natin yun, ha? Okay. So, that's your schedule. Okay. Now, another thing that you would have to remember, especially kapag synchronous session tayo, is yung etiquette when we conduct our synchronous session. So, yun na nga. Number 1, you were told not to, unwritten rule naman na yun that, actually written siya. Okay, pero ngayon medyo sanay na kayo that you have to keep your mic in mute. Okay? Especially in my case that I am actually madali ako ma-distract ng ingay. Okay? Whether it's coming from on my side or on your side. Okay, madali ako ma-distract ng ingay. Pag nag-discuss ako at may narinig akong ingay, medyo distracted ako kagad. Okay? Kasi naka-headset din kasi ako. Kaya dinig ko lahat talaga ng tanong. So, it goes to show na sana i-mute natin yung mic natin. Especially when you are entering the meeting. Okay? Yung late na kayo, tapos you just to enter the meeting. I-mute nyo yung mic nyo bago kayo mag-join. Okay? Kasi hindi siya automatic Hindi automatic na minumute siya ng Teams kapag papasok kayo. Especially kung konti lang yung a-attend. Kung konti pa lang yung naka-attend. Okay? So kapag 11 or 10 or more yata yung yung nasa attendance na, automatic minumute na siya ng Teams. Pero kapag less than 10, hindi pa niya minumute kahit na matagal na yung duration ng meeting. Okay? So I think it's something that the teams would the support behind the team should be able to improve on. Kasi unless actually nakakatulong din minsan yung hindi nag-mute na student na late. Kasi nalalaman ko late siya. Okay. So, pero to start with naman, meron namang monitoring si Teams kung anong oras kayo pumasok at anong oras kayo lumabas at kung putol-putol yung attendance niyo sa isang meeting. So, nalalaman naman ng Teams yun. Namo-monitor ko rin siya actually. Okay, yun nga lang, the data comes in at a later time. For example, mga after 24 hours ng meeting, doon pa lang may papakita ng Teams na ang isang student is umattend lang ng 1 hour out of 2 hours of meeting. So na mo-monitor 'yon sa Teams. Okay? So ayun. And with your class size, this is small. Lima pa lang kayo sa ngayon. I am actually seeing makita ko naman kung sino yung mag-leave tsaka sino yung babalik din. Okay. So it's fine. Kaya kasi previous experience ko, I have a class na ginawa ko 44 na students in one class. So kapag nagmi-meeting kami, hindi ko na monitor kasi parang ganito yung interface sa akin pagka nagmi-meeting. Okay, ganyan lang yung interface niyan. So pagka ganito, kita ko yan. Pero imagine niyo na dito 44, may mga bilog-bilog pa yan dito. Okay, baka nakita niyo na rin yan before. May mga bilog-bilog yan dito. So yung mga nandito, hindi ko na monitor yan kung anong ginagawa nila. Okay. So, anyway, please know that you are being monitored in terms of the attendance. Okay. So, may data naman ako mapagkukuhanan kung saan makikita ko kung anong oras kayo pumasok at anong oras kayo lalabas ng meeting. Okay? So, yun. Pero, the point is, just mute your mic when you are entering the meeting. Okay? Whether it is starting or not, whether you are late or not, mute the mic. Okay? Para hindi rin tayo ma-distract sa discussions natin. Okay? So, ayun. You don't need to open your cameras during the session, okay? Unless there is a compelling reason for us to do so. For example, kailangan talaga natin siyang i-open because I would like you to show something, okay? Like for example, baka may pasulat ako sa papel, tapos kailangan nyo ipa-display sa camera. So baka ganun. Although I am also thinking of the possibility na baka wala rin kasi kayong camera. And that is fine. Wala namang kaso dun sa walang camera. Okay, so baka kasi wala naman talaga kayong camera. So wala naman tayong magawa doon. And you don't need to I won't really require to buy a camera para lang masatisfy yung requirement sa school na kailangan may camera kayo. Okay. We can go on with the online session na wala kayong camera. Okay. Although at least at one point during the term, sana din, magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na magkita-kita tayo online, kahit online lang. Okay. I mean, makikita nyo ako every time na may online session at makikita nyo ako during the, when you are watching the recorded lecture. Okay, makikita nyo ako dyan. Kaya lang, kayo kasi hindi ko makikita. Okay, so, although kilala ko yung iba sa inyo kasi naging student ko na before. Okay, so si Bacamante familiar sa akin, si Pagirigan familiar sa akin. So, alam ko naging student ko na kayo before, pero yung the rest of the class, medyo hindi pa. Okay, so I hope na I would be able to see you. Okay, so kasi parang nagiging normal na rin ngayon sa nangyayari. Nakakalipas ang isang term, hindi ko man lang nakita yung estudyante. Okay, so parang medyo hindi ako komportable sa ganong setup. I mean, pumasa na pala sa akin pero hindi ko pa nakita yung itsura. So, ayun. That weirds me out. Medyo weird sa akin yung ganong arrangement. Pero masasanay din naman tayo. Paunti-unti. Okay. So, ayun, you don't need to open your camera unless you are asked to do so. And we will use the raise hand features. Alam niyo naman yung raise hands dito, di ba? Can you raise your hands nga?
Apo.
Can you raise your hands? Okay, so ayan. Okay, so ganito. Yung raise hands natin would serve as, sige, pababa muna. Pababa muna ng hands. Okay, so it would serve as, with two purposes for our class or for our synchronous session. Okay. So number one is that you can use that one to call my attention. If ever na gusto niyo akong i-interrupt sa pag-discuss and because meron kayong gustong sabihin, you can use that raise hands feature para ma-call yung attention ko. Okay. Medyo attention seeking naman din yung pag-raise hands niyo. Dahil unang-una konti lang kayo, number one. So, number two, nakikita ko naman sa indicator sa monitor ko yung nag-raise hands. And at the same time, I'm also logged in sa phone ko. So, kung hindi man ako nakatingin dito sa side na to, which is my screen, nakatingin ako dun sa phone ko. Okay? At nagba-vibrate naman siya kapag So, that one calls my attention. Okay? So, you can use your raise hands to call my attention. Okay? Or another way to call my attention is to actually type something sa chat box. Okay, pwede naman kayo mag-type sa mag-message sa akin directly sa chat box dito. Okay, even if I am talking, even if while I'm talking, pwede kayo mag-type ng something dito. For example, yung question niyo. Okay? So, ayun. Pwedeng gamitin ito to call my attention. Also, you would use this para kapag naman ako yung may tanong, dito naman kayo magbibigay ng sagot. Okay, so yun yung ilan sa mga titingnan natin ng mga ano. Okay. So that's one. The other way or the other thing that we will use the raise hands feature is I would like it to use sa yes or no question. Okay. So kapag ang question ko sa inyo is or requires the answer of a yes or a no. Okay. Para hindi na rin kayo magpupunta sa audio o kaya magta-type. The fastest way that we can express that our answer is affirmative in a yes or no question is to simply raise your hand. Okay? So kapag ang tanong natin is yes or no, tapos ang sagot niyo naman ay yes. Okay? Simply raise your hand. So from there, malalaman ko na yes yung sagot niyo. Pero don't lower your hands until I say so. Kasi gusto ko makita kung ilan yung may sagot ng yes eh. Okay. So parang botohan nito at kung sino yung in favor, for example, o kaya yes yung sagot, then ipapataas natin yung kamay. Pero huwag yung ibababa kasi minomonitor ko kung sino sila. Okay. Naintindihan ba yon?
Yes, sir.
Ayun. Ito yung unang
Yes po,
pagkakataon.
sir.
Pero ito yung unang pagkakataon para gawin yan. Ayan. Diba? Yes or no question yun eh. Is that understood? So, ayan. So kapag pero huwag niyo muna bababa Huwag niyo muna bababa. I will give the signal when you would lower your hands. Okay. So para sabay-sabay din tayo magbaba. Okay. So again, if the question is a yes or no question and you answer in affirmative, simply raise your hands. Okay. Para mabilis kasi. Okay. Mas mabilis siya kapag ganun. Kesa mag-audio or And I recognize naman na merong delay. Okay. Pero at least yung delay would actually not weird us out kapag audio yung sagot mo. Okay. So sige, lower your hands na. Okay. So mostly yun ang protocol that we will be implementing when we are on synchronous session. Okay. During the asynchronous session naman, always remember that during our scheduled time, which is Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. At sinet ko yan na asynchronous learning mode. Okay. Please remember that I am online during the time na nakaschedule tayo. Okay. So, you may actually request for or you may actually ask questions. Okay. And there is a very high probability that I would be answering your questions during the time na nakaschedule tayo supposedly to have a class. Okay? So, the best time to ask questions is during the scheduled time natin, which is Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yan ang dahil yan yung pinakamalaki yung probability na sasagot ako agad. Okay? Other than that, medyo bumababa yung probability. Okay? Pinakamababa ang probability na sasagot ako agad is yung mga umaga. Okay? Yung mga may klase ako. Okay? So, yung mga yon. That's number 1. Number 2, yung medyo umaga. Pag medyo umaga kayo magtatanong, asahan nyo na medyo matagal ako sasagot. Okay? Kasi medyo tanghali ako gumigising. Dahil gising naman ako pag madaling araw. Okay? Try nyo rin minsan na mag-send sa akin ng message ng madaling araw kung gising pa kayo. And don't be surprised kung sasagutin ko kayo kahit alas 3 o alas 4 ng madaling araw. Okay? Kasi it's likely na that time gising ako at gumagawa ako ng mga stuff ko. Okay? That is why pag umaga talagang tulog ako. Okay? Nagigising lang ako medyo tanghali na. Kasi nga, medyo graveyard ako mas komportable gumawa. Okay? So, that is why. There is this time nga during the last term na I was interacting with my students in real time at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. As in, alas 2 hanggang alas 3 nag-uusap kami. Okay? So, that may sound unorthodox pero ganun eh. Ganun yung naging setting last time. So, ayun. That is why, in your case, kung meron man kayo mga questions or something like that, just leave it at my inbox. Okay? And then, as soon as I was able to read your messages, sasagutin ko naman yan. Okay? We will address your as prompt as I can. Okay? So, is that understood? Okay, so sige. Very good. Baba natin yung kamay. Okay, so next thing that we will have to know is yung tools na gagamitin natin, yung primary tool na gagamitin natin sa during the conduct of the course, which is what you are seeing in the screen right now. This is the OneNote app. Okay, and last Thursday, last Friday pala. Parang kanina ko pa sinasabi sa klase ko na last Thursday. Okay, last Friday pala, I made an announcement regarding this. Okay, which is something that you have to prepare for. In order for us in order for you to prepare yourselves para sa conduct ng klase natin. Okay, so this is the OneNote app. Nakapag-install na ba kayo? Who among you, sino yung mga nakapag-install na? Raise hands. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, nakapag-install na lahat. Okay, very good. Sige, so pababa na. Isa ko pang question. Sige, pababa muna. Isa ko pang question. Who among you is have used or is using this OneNote app in their other classes? Wala. Okay. Which means, una, first time nyo palang gagamitin ito. Number 2, dito nyo lang siya ginagamit. Okay, so sige. Bababa ng hands. Okay. So which is medyo surprising on my part kasi magandang tool itong OneNote, yung class notebook actually to integrate Teams and your course materials. Okay? Kasi I understand na baka yung ibang teachers yung gumagamit ng ibang platform like for example Canvas. Okay. Pero hopefully mabago ng school yung ganong setting kasi alam ko nakakalito sa inyo ito. I mean, yung paggamit ng iba-ibang platform, may gumagamit ng Teams, may gumagamit ng Canvas. Medyo hassle yun sa inyo. Okay? I mean, we need to have a certain kind of uniformity when it comes to deploying these kinds of tools para hindi naman kayo dito din. Okay. So I hope na I hope that we would be able to advocate yung paggamit ng OneNote across all courses, all classes para hindi rin naman kayo nalilito sa mga tools na gagamitin niyo. Pero to start with, tuturuan ko kayo kung paano magsimula. Okay, and it's good na naka-install na kayo ng OneNote sa inyong workstation. So that's very good. Okay. Pero let's start with integrating your class notebook from Teams into your OneNote. Okay. So mapapansin niyo kasi wala pa yung notebook niyo dito, di ba? Mapapansin niyo ako nasa akin na yung andito na yung notebook ko. Okay. Pero hindi naman yan biglang napunta lang yan diyan. Okay. So merong pang gagawing steps para mapunta siya dito. Okay. And if you are able to follow, kung kaya niyo siyang ma-follow as I am demonstrating it, please do so. Okay, bibigyan ko naman kayo ng konting time. Pero in this case, start off by first logging in. Okay, in this part. Pagka-open niyo ng OneNote, no? Open niyo muna yung OneNote. Log in niyo siya dito if you are not yet logged in. Okay, so kung hindi pa kayo naka-login, andito yung login button somewhere in this area. Okay, so in my case kasi hindi naka-login yung NUIS ko. And that will be fine kasi I don't know kung how this thing work. Pero before nung synchronize ko tong notebooks na to from my Teams, naka-login yung NUIS account ko. Nilog out ko lang siya kasi gumawa ako ng reading material for this one. So parang nakalimutan ko yatang i-login ulit yung NUIS ko. Okay. Anyway, in your case, please do log in with your NUIS account details. Okay. Now, and when you're done, Okay, when you're done with that, okay, ito gagawin natin para mag-synchronize siya, no? Punta kayo sa Teams. Punta kayo sa Teams app. Okay? Punta kayo sa Teams natin. Ito yung Teams natin. Okay? Doon sa taas nun, meron siyang class notebook na app. Na tab, I mean. Okay? Meron siyang class notebook na tab. Click nyo yan. Okay, so supposedly, pagka-click nyo yan, lalabas ito. Yan. Okay. Now, as it is, ito, actually magagamit nyo na to eh. Kaya lang, ang concern ko lang kasi sa paggamit na to is, una, tingnan nyo, medyo maliit yung screen. Okay? So, since maliit yung screen, medyo mahirap mag-work ng something dito. That is why also, medyo nag-advise ako against just using your mobile phone for this class. The mobile phone would actually be helpful as a supplement, pero not as the main device. Okay, kasi nga gagawa tayo ng mga reports natin dito sa OneNote app. Okay? So you can actually navigate this sa yung class notebook within the Teams app by clicking this one, and then makikita niyo na yung content ng notebook niyo. Okay? But since naka-install naman na yung OneNote app niyo, we can actually forgo with this one. And then just click on this one, click on this drop down, and then click open in desktop app. Okay? O, tingnan rin yung open in desktop app. Ulitin ko. Click this one. Dito sa class notebook tab ng Teams niyo. Okay? You open the class notebook. Okay? And then click this one. Click this drop down. Okay? And then click the open in desktop app. Okay? Now, that should trigger, okay? Pressing that button should trigger your OneNote app to synchronize with the notebook found on your Teams. So, medyo may konting proseso na dadaanan yan. Okay, may konting proseso na dadaanan yan bago nyo siya makita dito sa gilid. Okay? So, at the start, actually, ganito yung magiging interface niyo. Ang wala lang naman dito yung ribbon eh. So, ipipin ko lang yung ribbon. Ayan. More or less, ganyan yung itsura ng interface niyo sa umpisa. Okay? Nasubukan nyo na ba? So si Tingle, nasubukan na niya. Si Bacamante. Okay, so yung iba later siguro subukan niyo na. Sige, pababa ng hands. Subukan niyo ito. Okay. So for now, I'll just demonstrate what would happen with everything inside here para magamit niyo na siya later on. Okay, so what will you be able to see pagka nagbukas kayo ng notebook? Okay, ito yung primarily na makikita ninyo. At syempre magkaiba tayo ng interface kasi yung interface ko is the teacher side, your interface is the student side. Ang tawag actually sa akin ang tawag dun sa section ninyo ay student notebook. Okay, so meron yung student notebook na yan is actually a private space that you can work on your own. Although for me, that's not private kasi I can actually write something on that. Okay, I can write something on that. So, ang makikita nyo sa inyo, okay, sa inyo is itong collaboration space section group. Okay? At saka itong content library. Okay? At saka yung laman ng student notebook niyo. Although I'm not sure kung naka-grupo siya, okay, or naka-section na kagad siya. Okay? Pero in this case, for example, kung bubuksan natin yung notebook ni Mr. Astrero, okay, meron yan dalawang tabs o dalawang sections. Sections yung tawag natin sa ganito meron siyang dalawang sections called the handouts and class notes. At saka meron siyang homework section. Okay? So, yan yung dalawang tab na makikita nyo sa inyong student notebook. Okay? Bukod pa sa makikita nyo rin tong content library. Okay? At saka itong collaboration space. Okay? So, ganito. Tignan mo natin yung content library. At pakita ko sa inyo kung paano namin ginamit to last term. Okay? So, yung content library, we were able to we organized I organized the content library in this manner. Okay. Number one, I would under ng announcement sections. Announcement section, I would put in important announcement that needs your immediate attention. Okay? And ito, ihiwalay ko to as an announcement galing dun sa Teams. Kasi sa Teams, yung announcement doon, natatabunan kasi. Kung makikita nyo, scroll up yon, ibig sabihin yung mga latest announcement nasa ilalim. So therefore, yung mga old announcement na natatabunan sa itaas. Okay? So if the announcement is very important, especially if the announcement should span the entirety of the course. Okay? Nilalagay ko siya dito instead. Okay? So katulad dito, course notes ito eh. Mga important things ito that you have to remember about the course notes, the course. Okay? That's why it's called course notes. Okay. So number one, nilalagay ko dito yung mga YouTube links where you can find the recorded lectures, the recorded synchronous sessions, okay? Available for you to watch, okay, in YouTube. Although later on baka mag-prepare din ako ng links naman in Microsoft Stream. Okay, so dalawa yung gagamitin nating platform for you to deploy the recorded videos for this class. So dito ko siya nilalagay para easy reference ba. Okay, so that's one. Another is that I put in course calendar. Okay, so ilalagay ko rin dito yung course calendar natin. Okay, so ano yung course calendar? That would serve as a reminder on which dates you should remember. Okay. And some of those dates would actually set the deadline for submissions of homework, okay, and quizzes and the exams. Okay. So here's the thing that you have to remember about our class and our class activities. Number one, we have designed this class, this course or this class to have weekly homeworks. So which means that every time we will deploy a course material, we would also have a homework corresponding to that part of the course material that you are to read and to study. So yung homework naman at most 10 questions or yung unang homework niyo is around 15 questions. Pero after that, mga 10 questions, mga 6, 5, hindi naman siya masyadong sobrang haba talaga na homework. Okay. Although some of them medyo magko-consume ng time for you to work on kasi may solving part. Okay. Pero that would also lead you to do some practice in doing some calculations or computations. Okay? So, yun yung homework. Okay? And the deadlines of the homework, sige, yung homework muna. Okay. Next is quizzes. So homework, after ng homework, quizzes naman. Okay? So, we would have to schedule 4 quizzes all throughout the term. Okay, so sa 4 terms or sa entire term, we would have 4 quizzes. Although I'm still thinking the possibility of bringing the total number of quizzes to 3. Kasi na-realize ko pala na yung isang session nga natin is on a Sunday. So baka binibilang ko rin yung number of weeks, baka kulangin din naman tayo. Okay, so baka tingnan natin yung possibility na 3 quizzes tayo. Okay, pero sa ngayon 4 quizzes muna ang i-mindset niyo that we will have 4 quizzes. Okay, and ayun, so doon muna tayo, 4 quizzes. Okay, and then finally, meron lang tayong final exams. Okay, wala tayong midterm exams. I won't give you exams during the midterm week. Okay, But likely I would give you a quiz on that week instead of a midterm exam. Okay. Pero, wala tayong magiging midterm exam. Okay. So, diretso tayong mag-final exams bale. Okay. So, again, ang activities natin for this class is yung homeworks, activities, quizzes, and final exams. Okay. And some seat work during synchronous sessions like this one. It is possible na magkaroon din tayo ng seat work. Okay. And although the grade of that is not independently recorded, pero i-add natin siya sa ibang parts ng niyo. Most likely sa quiz niyo. Yung score niyo doon will be added to your quizzes. Okay? So, naintindihan yung mga class activities natin. Okay, so sige, pababaan ng hands natin. Okay. Now, let's go back to the homework. Okay, yung homework natin is ganito ang mangyayari. We would be setting your homework with two kinds of due dates. Okay, yung due dates ng homework natin will always carry two significant dates that you need to consider. Okay. Number one, the one that comes first is what we call the soft due date or the soft deadline for your homework. Okay? The other date is the hard deadline. Okay, so medyo suggestive naman yung name niya, pero just to clarify the meaning of the soft due date and the hard due date is this. Pag sinabi niyo yung soft due date, you are encouraged to submit your homework on or before that soft due date. Okay? But you can submit that homework beyond that soft due date. Now, until when you can do that submission. Okay? You can do that submission, you can submit, okay, before the hard deadline lapses. Kasi after the hard deadline lapses, then that's the time that you cannot submit your homework for that. Okay? Malinaw yan? Okay, so sige, pababa ng hands. So, katulad ng nakikita niyo dito nakita niyo dito sa aking nakasulat dito. Okay. Nagbigay ako ng example. Now, this is simply an example muna. Again, walang final pa dito sa gusto kong i-discuss. Okay. I-pin ko to para medyo mas malaki yung space ko. Ayan. Unpin natin siya para mas malaki. Pati ito, unpin natin siya dito. Ayan. So, para mas malaki yung space ko. No? Okay. So, ayan. So, tulad nung nakikita nyo dito, halimbawa, meron tayong week 2 homework. Okay? Ang due date niyan or ang soft due date niyan would fall before we conduct our quiz 1, which would fall basically on week 4. Okay, pero again, natin is yet final. Pagka nakita nyo na itong ganito, okay, nakita nyo itong course calendar na to, that's the time na medyo final na siya. Okay, especially itong quiz 1 at saka yung deadline ng mga immediate activities natin. Okay, so para doon mo sabi na final siya. Pero yung iba nun, pwede pa rin mabago. Okay, so that's the thing that you have to remember about that. Okay, so again, going back here, yung week 2 homework ninyo, okay, at saka yung week 3 homework ninyo, pwede ang magkaroon ng soft due date before the quiz 1. Ang logic doon is that you can actually use your homework 2 at saka 3 in order to prepare for quiz 1. And whatever topics have been discussed in this homework, okay, na nakakasakop sa nasasakop ng quiz 1, okay, are actually the topics that are to be quizzed on quiz 1. Okay? So that is why ang soft due date itong mga to is before you have the first quiz. Okay? Halimbawa naman, yung week 4 homework, week 5 homework, tsaka week 6 homework, lahat naman yan naka-soft due date before your quiz 2, which would fall at around week 7. Okay? Malamang dun malaglag yung yung quiz 2 natin. That week 7. Okay? So, ngayon, what would happen is that magkakaroon ngayon ng hard deadline. Okay? Yung mga yan, lahat ng to. Okay? Sa week 7. Ibig sabihin, the ultimate day of submission, okay, would fall on a date that is on week 7 of the calendar. Usually, nilalagay ko itong hard deadline on a Saturday. For example, ang Saturday, ibuksan ko yung calendar ko. So, term 2 week to tayo ngayon. Okay? May week 3 pa pala to. So, ang week 4 is ito eh. Okay, so that's the week 4. Week 5, 6, 7. Ayan. Ito yung term 2 midterms week. This is week 7. Okay. Magiging usually pero again, there's nothing final yet. Magiging hard due date niya itong January 30. So meaning although you are encouraged to submit your homeworks before we conduct a quiz. Pero kapag hindi niyo siya magagawa ng paraan, okay, para mag-submit during that time, then meron kayong until January 30 to actually turn in your homeworks. Okay? Maliwanag ba yun? Okay, so sige, pababa ng kamay. Now, baka isang question ninyo. Sir, kasi sabi nyo kanina na ang soft deadline nito is before quiz 2, which would fall, sabi nyo sir, on week 7. So does that mean na sabay yung nito? Sabay yung due date nito? Okay, not necessarily. Kasi naka week 7 man yan, pero malamang magkaibang araw yan. Still, mauuna pa rin ito. Okay, it's likely na mauuna pa rin ito. Okay? So, mamaya malaman nyo kung bakit siya mauuna ng konti. Okay. So, ganito. So, those are the due dates that you have to remember about your homeworks. Okay. Now, let's go to the schedule to your quiz. Or quizzes. So, again, meron tayong 4 na quizzes. Okay. We will have 4 quizzes. Quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3, and quiz 4. Okay. Dalawa dyan. Yung first 2 quizzes niyo is on week 4, week 7. These are nominal schedules na na-experience ko before. Pagka nag-i-schedule ng quiz sa mga previous classes ko, ito yung mga kinalalaglagan ng mga dates. Although, before it's week 6 dahil yung week 7 is midterms. Now, i-adjust natin siya sa week 7 dahil wala naman tayo midterms. So, ang mga ang mga nominal schedule ko, again, this is subject to change pa. Quiz 1 is held at during week 4. Okay, quiz 2 is held during week 7. Okay, quiz 3 is held during week 9. Okay, and quiz 4 during week 12. Dahil week 13 yung final exams natin. Okay, so yan yung mga nominal schedule. Pero again, these are subject to changes. Okay, now, when I conduct the quiz in this time of online approach in teaching courses, isa sa pinaka-ayokong ginagawa at pinaka-disagree ako is actually conducting a live quiz. Sa akin yan hindi ko ginajudge yung ibang teachers na gumagawa nun, which is normal naman dapat talaga yun. Ako, ayoko lang talaga ng idea. Personally, I don't like the idea. Number 1 is, restricted kayo sa pwede nyong gawin ng during the time. For example, kung 2 hours lang yung klase natin, 2 hours lang din yung live quiz natin. Alam naman natin na sa 2 hours na yun, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. Okay, for example, tulad nga nung magkasunod yung klase ko, medyo malilate talaga ako mag-login. Okay, although possible naman na mangyari din siya sa face-to-face. Okay, but still, I don't like it happening over online. Okay, kasi nga, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. Una, yun nga, pwedeng malate ako pagpasok. Kayo, pwede kayo mag-late pagpasok. Maaaring maganda yung internet connection nyo sa umpisa ng oras, pero pag matatapos na yung oras, bigla kayo mawawala. Hindi pa kayo makakapag-submit. Okay? So, siguro nangyari na sa inyo yung ganong, ganong senaryo. Okay? Or open tayo na mangyayari yung ganong senaryo. Tama ba? Okay. So, sige. Pababa ng hands. So, ako, alam ko sa inyo, stressful yung ganung pangyayari. Okay? Napaka-stressful ng ganung pangyayari. Ako din, actually, ako rin nai-stress ako sa ganung nangyayari. So, that is why I don't really like conducting a live quiz. Okay? So, what I do is this. I'm actually deploying a much more time. I am allotting a much more time for the quiz. Okay. It's just that these quizzes are scheduled on a time that I am sure na wala kayong klase kasi ayoko namang tamaan din yung klase niyo. Okay? So, nagko-conduct ako ng quizzes usually almost a whole day. Okay? Actually, 12 hours to be exact. Okay, ganun kahaba yung pagde-deploy ko ng quiz. Okay? So, one thing that we were able to find last term is ginagamit namin yung university break for the quizzes. Okay, so medyo binibreak ko lang ng konti yung rule, pero I think that would be better than actually requiring you to take a quiz, but you have a limited time and we don't know what would happen. At least kung mahaba-haba yung time, kung magkakaproblema man, at least baka meron pa tayong time para magawa pa siya ng paraan. Okay. O kaya baka maayos naman kagad. So at least matutuloy pa rin natin siya. Okay. So usually ini-schedule namin yung quizzes ini-schedule ko yung quizzes on a Wednesday kasi Wednesday is a university break. So I would like to confirm if every Wednesday wala talaga kayong klase. Will that be true to you? That every Wednesday you don't have a class? Okay, so most of you, okay naman. Hindi pa, yan, sige, yun, lahat na kayo, okay na. So, ito let us agree, sige, pababa na. Let us agree na that we will conduct our quizzes on a Wednesday. Okay. I'll be giving you the time slot of 12 noon. Okay, 12 noon hanggang 12 midnight. That's the regular submission. Okay, so which means I would deploy the quiz on a 12 noon. You would have to turn it in before 12 midnight. Okay, to be considered as submitted on time. Okay, pero normally, ang practice ko naman is that I would allot 2 more hours until 2 a.m. for late submission. So this is the regular submission and this is the late submission. So inaalaw ko pa rin naman up to 2 hours na late submission. Kaya lang, kapag ka late na, merong konti ng deductions. Okay. So the deductions would actually serve as something like pagka na-deduct kayo because of late submission. Hindi naman kayo kung marami-rami naman yung sagot nyo, hindi naman kayo necessarily babagsak agad sa quiz kapag ka late kayo ng submission. Okay. So this is just to not really encourage yung late submission. Okay. So ayan. Okay ba yung ganung sistema sa inyo? Yung ganyang sistema ng quiz natin? Okay. So again, all of this would happen on a Wednesday. Okay. So that is why if you look at this, sige, pababa na. If you look at this one, ito yung sabi ko kanina na may implement pa rin natin to. Kasi if we will have our quiz on a Wednesday, yung before quiz 2 would mean a Tuesday soft deadline for these homeworks. Okay? Pero the hard deadline would be on a Saturday. Okay? So, yun yung tatandaan nyo about this one. Okay? Now, also, please bear in your mind that having a soft due date and a hard due date like this one does not imply na dapat pwede ko palang gawin yung aking mga homeworks at isubmit yung aking mga homeworks at week 7. Okay? Although I am giving you that kind of extended consideration, pero use it sparingly, which means gamitin niyo lang yung privilege na yun kung talagang meron kayong problema sa submission. Okay, pero kung wala naman and you have the time to do submissions, okay, or to do your homework and submit your homework before the soft due date, preferably, please do so. Kasi imagine niyo yung mangyayari sa inyo kapag inipon nyo until week 7 yung mga homeworks na yan. Ilan yan? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 homeworks yan. Okay, 5 homeworks yan. May naka-enroll ba sa inyo sa laboratory course? Is there anyone here enrolled in the laboratory course? Isa? Kayo din. Akala ko sa curriculum, kayo pa yung may curriculum na meron pang lecture. Na meron pang lab. Tama ba? Ayun. So, sige. Bababa na. Sinasabi ko kasi ganito. Tsaka tinanong ko rin siya kasi ganito. We will use the same system sa laboratory class. That is, meron kayong activities, okay, which should have soft due date and a hard due date. Okay. Now, imagine niyo, gagawa kayo ng 5 homework at sabihin natin 4 na activity reports on a week 7. It would likely be very impossible for you to do this within 1 week. Okay. So, that is why, as much as you can, bawasan niyo yung trabaho ninyo. Okay. As you go near this week 7 deadline. Okay. So, kaya ko lang ginawa to kasi I am still allowing for the fact na baka bago yung mag-soft due date, magka-problema kayo sa for example, sa connection, o kaya personally, magka-problema kayo. Okay, so, that is why I'm giving you 2 chances para may pasa siya. Okay, so may soft due date tsaka may hard due date. If I am going to be strict about it, I'll just implement the deadline on a soft due date. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng soft due date, hard date. Dapat, tas wala ng hard date. Lahat hard due date na lang yun. If I would like to be strict about it. Pero again, I am seeing the possibility na baka magka-problema kayo sa ibang mga bagay. Okay, so that is why meron tayong ganitong konting consideration in terms of the deadlines of the homeworks and also of the activities sa laboratory. Okay, sa Thursday, sa Saturday ba kayo? Ano mga schedule? Saturday. Pagka ganun yung tanong ko, pwede kayo sumagot sa chat. Okay, sa audio. Saturday ang schedule nyo or Tuesday? Thursday. Check ko nga rin. Kayo yung Thursday. Tama? Sa CPK naka-enroll, no? So, kayo yung Thursday. Sige. So, ayun. Okay, so what I was saying is that please do consider this as to plan your activities. Okay, tandaan niyo lang na wag niyo papayagan na matambakan kayo ng activities niyo. Homeworks or activities. Especially yung activities sa lab, medyo mahaba gawin yun . Dahil meron kayong ginagawang software tapos nag-generate pa kayo ng report. So, medyo mahaba siyang gawin. So that is why you need to plan this out. Okay? And not let these activities and these homeworks pile up, okay, before you take actions. Okay? So ayun. Please do remember those things. Okay. So again, in yung schedule na binigay ko, there's nothing final about that yet. Okay, finalize natin 'yan within this week. Okay. And I'll be giving you those schedule later on. Okay? So that you'll be able to strategize on what to do. Okay? And then the last thing is yung final exams. So, ang final exams natin is hindi naman siya isang araw lang. I would actually use the entire final exams week for you to consume. Although I'm thinking kasi mag-overlap kasi yung mag-overlap kasi yung final exams ninyo sa sa lecture tsaka yung final exams ninyo or final assessment ninyo sa laboratory. Mag-overlap yan. So, dalawang option natin diyan. It's either we assign some days for the lecture, some days for the laboratory, or we'll just let it overlap. Okay? Tapos kayo lang yung gumawa ng paraan, or you have to find your own time para gawin ko yung lecture at gawin ko yung laboratory. Okay? Although another possibility that I am thinking is that I'll move ahead with the laboratory assessment 1 week before this week, which means instead of having your final assessment for the laboratory in this week, I would have it instead here. Okay, so that's another possibility that I would be exploring. Okay, so yung mga yon titingnan natin as we pag malapit na tayo dun sa mga times na yan. Okay? So, are these things clear to you? Okay, so sige, pababa ng hands. So that's under announcement. So what would you be expecting under announcements section ng content library are these things. Okay? Which will give you an idea on how we would be conducting your course. Okay? So there, ayan. Another section that we would be able to see siguro in the future is this teacher's note. Okay, so as you would be experiencing in the lessons as we go along, I will be making some scribbles. Okay, I will be making some things like this. Yung magsusulat ako dun sa lecture note niyo, dun sa course material niyo. Okay. I would like you to I would share these scribbles with you kasi some of them would actually be containing the solutions to some examples. Okay, so yung mga examples dito, may mga solution na nakasulat siya. For example, dito. Ayun, medyo Ayan. So, medyo nag-misbehave yung aking OneNote. Nahihirapan to mag-sync, ibig sabihin. Baka bumabagal yung internet ko. Okay, anyway. Ayun na nga. Okay, close ko lang muna. Para Okay, so yun nga, meron akong i-dedicate na section para sa sa mga notes. Okay, that I would be making while I am discussing para ma-share ko rin siya sa inyo. Okay, and hence you would be able to study them, okay, in your during your asynchronous learning sessions. Okay, so that's another section. Okay, and then the other sections sa content library are the course materials themselves. Okay, so for example, under ng week 1, okay, are these pages. So these are the topics. Okay, so again nakita niyo yung switch ko. So nag-switch ako sa week 1. Okay, so these are the things that we need to discuss for week 1, for example. But then week 1 is already done. So we're actually starting on week 2. Okay, so we have the basic concepts, system configuration, analysis and design objectives, design process. So these are the things that we will need to discuss during this week, dapat. Okay. But ang tawag dito. And they're organized with every week. Okay, so week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, so your course materials are organized this way. Okay. Now, the thing is that although this is in a content library, you would not be able to edit anything out of here. Hindi niyo magagalaw tong mga nakalagay dito. So that means that if you are to insert your own thoughts, for example, meron kayong gustong ilagay na notes, okay, during the time na ginawa natin siya. Okay, it is possible that you would not hindi pala possible. It is impossible for you to make edits kapag nasa content library siya. Okay? But you can actually copy this, okay, from the content library into your own notebook. Pwede mo siyang i-copy sa inyong And that is what the section for the handouts and class notes section is for. I would encourage you to, when you are trying to copy a material from the content library, I would encourage you to copy it here. Okay? Dito nyo siya lagay sa handouts and class notes. Although may freedom naman kayo magdagdag ng iba pang section. Okay? But this is something that I placed here by default so that you would be able to organize your notes under this one. Okay? So, pwede naman gayahin yung arrangement ko sa content library na naka-per week siya. So, magdagdag na lang kayo ng sections dito. Okay? Tapos, i-copy nyo siya per section. So, pwede naman yun. Okay? Pero kayo, nasa sa inyo naman na yan. Okay? Basta, ang importante, meron kayong sariling kopya. Okay? If you want, you would have your own copy of your notes. Okay? So that you would be able to, do some additional note taking. Okay? So, ayun. Paano ba i-copy yan? Okay. So, pakita ko lang muna dun sa previous notebook namin. Okay, let's go to content library. Okay, halimbawa ganito. Ang gusto niyo i-copy is itong teacher's note, actually. Okay, you want to copy this teacher's note. Okay. So, what you can do is select a section, select a page. Okay. For example, to select a page, you just click on this area, on this right side area of the screen. Okay, click nyo lang yan. Okay, you are selecting the section. I mean the page. Okay. So, the section are the tabs. The pages are here. Okay. So, you can right-click this one. You can right-click the page that you want to copy. Then, select copy. Okay. And then, go to your own section. Okay. Say, for example, the class note section. Halimbawa, class note section tayo. Okay. Iba kasi yung organization last term. Ngayon siya iniba ko na. Mas konting ginagamit ko tayo kasi hindi mo namin nagagamit lahat. Okay. So, kung tayo sa, halimbawa, sa handouts and class notes ninyo, then, right-click here, paste. Okay. So, supposedly, makakopy yung makakopy yung page na yon into this, into your own notebook. And then from here, you can now do editing. Okay, you can now edit everything here since nasa notebook nyo na siya. Okay? You can copy multiple pages kung gusto nyo i-copy yung mas maraming pages by multiple selection. So, for example, select natin yung 3.5. Okay? Let us select yung section, yung page ng 3.5. Okay? until, for example, 3.7. Okay, so after selecting 3.5, press Shift. Okay, press Shift and then select 3.7 para ma-select yung 3.5, 3.6, tsaka 3.7. Then same thing, right-click, okay, copy, and then go to your notebook. Okay, there is something happening within my PC, so medyo nagdalag siya. Go to your notebook. Ito yung notebook ninyo. Then again, punta kayo sa class notes. Okay. Then paste nyo siya dito. Okay, so that puts now your here, your course materials here. And then again, you can do some notes, okay, in the process so that you can customize your own notes. Okay, is this process understood? Okay, so sige, hopefully, sige pa ba na? Hopefully you would be able to find these things useful in your study. Okay? So dahil yun nga in the absence of a physical notebook na ginagamit nyo before, at least this is now a substitute into your a substitute for your physical notebook. Okay? Kumbaga, hindi niyo naman na kailangan bumili ng notebook for this class. Okay, although ang i-recommend ko is that you need some pieces of paper pa rin. You need some pieces of paper. So kung may naipon kayong mga scratch papers from your previous courses and pwede pa yung likod niya, okay, you can use that. Okay? Kasi yun lang naman yung kailangan niyo actually for for most of the time dahil yung notebook niyo naman nandito na. Okay, nandiyan na siya sa yung course materials niyo nasa notebook na. Kayo na lang yung magka-copy and magka-transfer so that you would be having your own notes. Okay? Now going back to your own notebook. So, dito, buksan natin yung kami sa Astrero. So that is what you can do on the handouts and class notes section. Okay? Your homework section is something that I would actually be making the changes. At first. Okay? Kasi ako yung maglalagay ng homework dito. Okay? Yung homework ninyo would actually be placed there. Okay? At dyan nyo siya sasagutan. Okay? Now, just to give you an idea on how your homework would look like, yung empty homework ninyo would actually look something like this one. Ito. Ayan. It would look something like this one. So, ang makikita nyo dyan is basically in table form to ha. Naka-table yan actually. Yung first row ng table ninyo is the question and the second row is where you would put the answer. Okay, so dyan nilalagay ngayon yung sagot niyo. Okay, now, you have options on how to express your answers. Okay. You have options on how to express your answers. Number one, you can actually directly type your answer here. Okay, using this as an editor. Okay. Kung paano kayo mag-edit ng stuff sa ng documents sa Microsoft Word. That is also how you can edit documents here. So for example, you can type in say for example the pose of a system determines the form of the response. This is just a sample response. The form of the response of the system, okay, whether it is overdamped, underdamped, and so on. So yan yung mga ilan sa sa mga that's one way you can work on this homeworks. It is possible din na that your answer would require you to write equations. So you can you can insert equations here by clicking insert and then equation. Okay, that's one. Pero a shortcut for that is to press alt and equal at the same time. So pwede ko yung gawin dito directly by pressing alt and equal at the same time. So that inserts or that puts in an equation field. So automatic pwede na kayo mag-type ng equation lahat. Like for example, f of x, okay? So equal, for example, magagawa tayo ng ng variable with a power or a variable raised to a certain power. Okay, so we can click this menu. Tandaan nyo, pag nag-write kayo ng equation, lalabas tong equation tab dito. Then you can use a script, okay? And then use this as a superscript kasi that symbolizes power. Okay, so you can write x raised to 4, for example. Okay? So, ayan. O kaya, ang shortcut dyan is x tapos yung caret sign. That is the symbol above the 6, if you're using a regular keyboard. Okay? So, x raised to 6. And then press enter. I mean, space para mag superscript siya. Okay, continuing, say for example, 3x raised to 5, raised to 5, okay, minus 4x cubed. Okay, every time you do the exponentiation, you press space. Okay, plus 5x raised to 5x squared, okay, plus 2x minus 3. Okay? So that's one way to write your equations. O kaya, if you are writing a fraction, okay? Say for example, f of s. Again, alt equal triggers the equation field. Say let us write f of s, okay, equals, you can insert a fraction there, okay, by clicking on equation and then fraction and then choosing this one. Okay. O kaya, ang pinaka-technique dito is press space, then slash, then another space. So that automatically puts a fraction bar there. Okay? So let's, for example, s plus 1 over s cubed plus 3s squared plus 2s plus 1. Okay, so that is how you can write a fraction using the equation editor. Okay, this is also something that you can do in the Word. Okay, this is something that is allowed or can be done in the Word. So therefore, whatever skill set you have in Word can be used here. Okay, so yung kung ano man yung alam nyo sa Word, pwede nyo i-apply dito. Except lang for a very few differences. Okay, for example, wala kasi itong justify. So that is something that wala dito. Okay, wala siyang justify ng paragraphs. Okay, so that is why I am putting your work on table in tabular form. Actually, kaya siya naka-table kasi ayoko rin namang sabog-sabog yung gawa ninyo. Okay, so ito pala tatandaan nyo. Importante na kapag meron akong pinagagawa sa inyo mga reports, it is important that you follow instructions on how to write the report. Okay? I would like you to follow the exact format or comply with the guidelines given to you when making a report. Number one, not only that it shows that you are paying attention to what the course is prescribing, you also show respect to the course and to the guidelines. Okay, and you are making my work easier. Okay, because it is really hard or it's really tough to evaluate papers if these are not well written. Okay, that is why um, I am trying to impose a format. Okay, I am trying to impose guidelines in order for me to make the format easier to read. And therefore, I would expect things to be where I am expecting them to be. Okay, and therefore, mas madali sa akin yung makakapag-check. Okay, I would be able to evaluate your papers much faster and much easier because I would be able to read your paper. Okay, so that is something that you have to work on. Okay, to follow the guidelines. Okay, number 2. Since this is report done outside my supervision. I don't supervise you, for example, during quizzes or during the making of this homework. Okay? And I am not monitoring you. Okay? We will work on an honesty system. Okay? That means that I am expecting, okay, that you would be working on your own. You would be generating a report or writing a report that is of your own doing. And you would not be trying to use someone else's report and write it in your own report to claim it as your own. Okay? Tandaan nyo na kung sa face-to-face classes, kapag nagkopyahan kayo, wala akong exactly ebidensya kung nagkopyahan kayo. Okay? Pero kapag dito kayo nagkopyahan, kitang-kita ko mismo. At merong ebidensya na lang nagkopyahan kayo. Okay? Pero I won't like to actually dwell on that negative side of that of you not complying with or not writing your own report, because I believe that you would try your best to write your own report. Okay? So mas naniniwala ako doon kasi naniniwala akong mangungopya lang kayo. Okay? Andun ako sa side na gagawin niyo yung tama. Dahil mas naniniwala ako, mas gagawin niyo yung tama. Okay. The thing is that I would like you to do the right thing by writing your own report, pero not really just in terms of writing the report to have a report per se. Okay. What I would like you to always remember is that your report would actually be used to determine your level of understanding of a certain subject matter. Okay. Ibig sabihin nun, I would need complete explanations. Okay. I would require you to write complete explanations for every questions that you need to answer. Okay. Number 1, I don't want you to write your answer to the question just for the sake of answering the question. Because I would like to have a perspective of the level of understanding that you have. Okay. For starters, please do answer incomplete sentences. Huwag kayong sasagot ng sentence fragment. Or huwag kayong sasagot ng sinagot nyo lang yun talaga, yung tanong nung mismong tanong lang. For example, ang tanong is, what is the color of the apple? Okay. First instinct na isasagot nyo dyan is just to answer simply, red. Because that's the only, yung feeling nyo kasi, that's the only question, that's the only answer that the question asks. Okay. But that answer applies only if you are, for example, in elementary or in high school. Not even nga in high school eh. Dapat pang elementary lang yung ganun sagot. Okay. Kung medyo matanda na kayo or medyo malaki-laki na kayo at meron na kayong certain level of maturity, you should answer that in complete sentence. Okay. Say for example, ang question again is what is the color of the apple? You must answer that question with, say, it is observed that the color of the apple is red. Or something like that. So you answer in complete sentence. Okay. And then aside from that, you also put in some context. Okay, regarding sa question niyo. Okay, hindi yung basta sasagutin niyo lang siya, pero hindi niyo man lang ipapaliwanag kung ano yung sagot niya. So, please provide some context. when you are answering questions. Do not be trapped in the habit of just simply answering the question. Okay, even if the question does not ask why is that your answer, dapat ang thinking nyo, dapat lagi kayo merong sagot sa ganong tanong. Okay? So, and also, always remember that when you are asked to discuss something, especially if it is a concept, do not limit yourselves in answering them as definitions. Okay, for example, ang tanong is that simply lang, discuss polls. Okay, the question is discuss polls. Yan yung question. Especially sa mga quizzes, mahilig ako magbigay ng mga ganitong tanong sa mga quizzes. Okay. The first instinct for you to answer this is to answer it using the definition of the polls. Okay, that's the first instinct that you have. But in that case, be creative. Okay. Do not use the textbook definition of the polls just to answer this question in your quiz or in your homework. Okay. I would really appreciate it much if instead of using the textbook answers, okay, you would actually supply your own definition, or you would define it in the manner by which you understand it. Okay. Number one, if I get the sense that your answer is a textbook answer, hindi niyo makukuha yung full credit for this one. I would not be giving you the full credit if I have this hunch that your answer is a textbook answer. Okay? So I have means of actually determining if the answer is a textbook answer or not. Meron akong way para magawa yan, para ma-determine yan. Okay, so please do not forget that. I would always have that means of determining how and where were you able to get that textbook answer. So remember that. So try to work on these reports with your own understanding and words. Okay? Pag chinekan ko to at binalik ko sa inyo yung paper niyo, that may contain some grammar corrections and something like that. Pero don't be offended. Unang-una kayo lang naman makakita nun. Hindi naman niya makikita ng ibang tao unless ipakita niyo sa kanila. Okay. These notebooks are actually private. Okay, so therefore you can nakakita lang niyan tayong dalawa lang. Okay, unless magtawag ako ng ibang tao dito sa bahay para mapakita, ito yung gawa ng estudyante ko. But I won't do that. That's not something that I intend to do. Okay. So ayun. May makakita kayo mga konting corrections, may makikita yung mga konting Pero that's part of a feedback mechanism. Okay, that's part of a feedback mechanism that we implement so that we would actually learn how to do things. Okay, properly. Okay. So kung may comments man ako about the grammar or something like that, then take it as something that would help you improve more in writing reports. Okay. Especially tandaan nyo na in the future you will also have to write your own reports. Okay. So that's one thing that you have to remember when writing your own report. Okay. So now, again, you have this option of writing your report this way. That is by directly typing. Okay. The other way that you can do your report is something like this. Mag-example tayo. Ito lang pala. Ayun, tulad yan, example ito. Name 3 applications for feedback control systems. Binigay niya lang guided missiles, self-guided vehicles, attack antenna. Iwas niyo yung mga ganyan sagot kasi paano naging application ng control system yung guided missiles? paano naging application ng self-guided vehicle? Mga tipong ganun. Okay, I would like you to put in some context into that. Okay, so that's one thing that you have to remember. The other way that you would be able to answer yung hindi ito yung example na hinahanap. I need to find some more example. Baka yung iba dito kilala nyo. Ito, yung kay Berha. Iyan natin. Sabay, wala naman dito yung ibang corrections ko. Wala din. Ayun, ito. Nakita ko na. Nasaan na yun? Ayan. The other way that you can work on your you can write your answers is this way. Okay? You can actually write your answers on a piece of paper, especially kung hindi niyo siya kayang i-type because that requires drawing and some labels and the like. Okay? So in that case, what you can do is to actually write them on a piece of paper and then scan it. Okay? Although when you scan your scan not take pictures. Okay? Scan. That is why I asked you to prepare for a scanner app for your mobile phone. Okay, in the previous post that I had. Okay, so I use that scanner app to actually scan documents. Okay, so that you would have full control on what to present. Okay, actually Mr. Berha can actually had this to be cropped ng mas maliit pa para medyo mas maliit. And actually instead of using this mode, may iba-iba kasing mode yan eh. Pero I would prefer that that the mode that you use when scanning your document is yung magiging puti talaga ito. So that malaki yung contrast between your handwriting and the paper itself. Okay, may nakita ako yung ganong example kanina. When I was discussing in the previous baka nasa kabilang section pala siguro. I'll take a look. Ito, yung sinasabi ko. Ayan. Yung ganyang mode ba? Yung malaki yung contrast between every scanner app has this kind of mode. I just forgot kung anong tawag na sa mode na yan. Okay, pero lahat ng scanning app meron ganyang mode. Okay, that is malaki yung contrast between the handwriting and the white paper. Okay? That makes your your handwriting stand out. Okay, mas mababasa ko siya. And at the same time, wala yung mga extra like for example, shadows. Or kung meron mang shadow yan, medyo minimal lang yung effect niya. Mababasa ko pa rin lahat nung parts ng paper niya. Okay, although the problem I had with this kind of answer is that wala naman siyang pinapaliwanag, so I don't know kung saan niya nakukuha tong mga solution niya. Okay, so something like this would actually not get credit. Pero I would appreciate this if your document is something like is scanned in this manner. Okay, so yun, that's report writing. Okay, for your homework and for your quizzes. Later in time, I would be giving examples of examples and exact guidelines on what to on how you would work on your homeworks and your quizzes. Okay? So far are you getting the grasp of what would be expecting here in the course? Medyo nakukuha niyo ba itong pinag-uusapan natin? Okay. So, sige, pababa ng hands. Okay, so given this information that I was able to provide you, and then some other information that you would be able to pick up kapag pinanood niyo yung mga orientation videos natin. Okay, I hope that you can plan and strategize your on how you would be able to navigate yourselves in this course. Okay, so ayun, just always remember that I would always remind you, if you have any concerns or inquiries, always talk it out with me. Okay? Leave message into my inbox Okay? I would address it as soon as I can, and we will see what we can do. Okay? With regards dun sa concern niyo. Okay? So, ayun. Now, it's near 9 o'clock, so I think I'm done for what I need to discuss. Okay, so next meeting, which is on Friday, we will start our first lesson on, I would introduce the uh, control systems idea first. Okay, although I'm thinking of actually reusing the recorded lectures I had last term. Okay, kasi wala naman sa inyong foreign student. Ang fault lang kasi nung recorded lectures ko last term is that I am actually demonstrating everything in Taglish. Okay, so medyo Taglish yun. So kapag merong foreign students, hindi magagamit yun nung foreign student kasi hindi niya maintindihan yung iba sinasabi ko doon. Wala pa namang subtitle. Okay, so ayun. Pero in your case, baka pwede ko siya magamit. Okay, so I think I can link you up to that that playlist in the YouTube so that you can actually listen in as I discuss. Kasi baka medyo iklihan ko yung discussion ko ng week 1, ng unit 1. Okay. And I need to proceed kasi to week 2 rin. Okay, para ma-discuss ko na siya ng konti. Okay. At least as it stands, medyo late na tayo ng konti sa course syllabus natin. Okay, konti lang naman. Pero we wouldn't mind that being late. Okay, ang importante madaanan natin siya. Okay, pero again, dahil nga may supplement tayo naman ng ng course materials when it comes to recorded lecture, then we also have that privilege to actually go to skip some parts during the synchronous session. Okay, dahil expecting na pag-aaralan niyo naman siya during the asynchronous learning. Okay? So, I think I would see you on Friday for our next session. So, abang lang kayo nung magiging decision nung admin regarding dun sa class natin. Pero for sure we'll either retain your class or we'll merge your class in another class. Basta ang magiging decision point ko personally is that decision branch that doesn't require you to pay ng sobra-sobra. Okay, so yun pag-iisipan natin kung paano tayo mag-move forward. Okay? So again, good night and thank you for attending today's session. I'll be seeing you on Friday. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you din. Kindly leave the meeting na lang.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so sige.
Thank you po, sir.
Ingat kayo or pahinga na kayo kasi gabi na rin pala.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sige.